to see the back of my head? I feel like you did. John said you did. This is Cinnamon Cooney, the Art Sherpa, your Art Sherpa. We're going to be live streaming today a really fun design I did digitally of a Tuscan scene with lavender and wine and a really old rustic wall. This is going to be a lot of fun. If you check the description below, there'll be links to, of course, the traceable, right? Because you got to be able to have a traceable to do this. But I am going to be sketching this in because there's been one change, which is that the 9x12 canvas, which would fit the traceable perfectly, that you just print out from your printer without tiling, is now an 11x14, mostly because apparently I painted all the 9x12 canvases in the house everywhere. On the mic is John.
Hi, guys.
He is going to be tracking me with the cameras. You're going to hear his voice. He's going to be reading your questions. He's going to make sure you see every step of this painting so you can create it at home. We're going to have picture-in-picture over here so that the things that are in my imagination are a little easier to follow. Yes, I made this digital image. No, I haven't practiced it before. She's going to be doing it with me. And we're going to be reformatting it, resizing it a little bit to make it work. But everything we're about to do, I'm going to explain, and you're going to do it too. So that's pretty awesome. How are we doing, John? I'm going to definitely need a sip of coffee now. I know everyone's on the back of my head. Live.
Well,
live.
That's how you know we're a live show.
That's how you know?
Yeah.
The mess ups? That's what we're going with.
It's
a feature, guys. The fact we're late, we messed up, it's a feature. That's how you know we're live. We're so authentic.
Well, the good thing is that we got to see that the extra pretty hairband you're wearing.
Oh, yes. Is this not? This is Karen and Crystal?
Yes.
Yeah. Made it con loot. This also goes with my Frida shirt, which I was like, boom, boom. Star Wars Frida. Tough choices in the morning. Yeah. With my coffee on a Saturday. Is noon Saturday morning? Yes, it is. Guys, I declare it.
Oh, so
woo!
Well, you know, some folks were hoping for a larger canvas because they like when you take, more time to paint. They get to spend more time hanging out with us. So
I do like that too.
They're like,
I almost did a 16x20. I thought it would be a good 16x20.
Yeah, they were just saying 16x20.
But then we're here for like 2 hours, and then no one wants to watch it because they're like, that woman talked for 2 hours.
We could do a 30x60.
All right, that's enough of this. I'm going to be painting today on an ampersand gesso board. Why? Because a lot are left over from MadeItCon.
And they were
and also because they're awesome. And so please excuse my awesome experience while I'm having it on this fabulous product.
Yes.
But it is a board. Like if you grabbed an economy board, it's a very similar thing. This is a panel. This is an incredibly smooth finish. You're going to see me having an easy time painting on it.
Yeah, they were really great. They gave at MadeItCon, they donated a lot of these boards so people could experience painting on a premium board, an art panel. That is
correct.
And it was really nice. And we had a lot of them left over, and they were good enough to let us continue to use them, so that we don't have to
go out and run out and get boards. And if there was a 9x12, we'd be on that now.
And these are really nice. These are much nicer than the canvases.
Much nicer. No, this is not sponsored.
No.
This is just my unsolicited opinion that you didn't ask for. Well, maybe you did because you came here. And so if you show up at this art channel, let's be honest. You've showed up for talking, joking, John's voice, my shenanigans, and crazy designs that we're the only weird place that does. Again, remember, guys, that description below has all the materials, everything that you need to know. I will update it at the end with every brush that I use before I wash them. We have wishes.
We do. Oh, I'm going to take this
on
out.
My canvas board. We have a wish for Kim's Uncle Jack. We have wishes for the families who lost people in the crash in Nepal.
Yeah.
We have wishes for Laura's fiance. He just needs healing and recovery. General wish for lost pets found. A little brush, Dawn, just complete strength while going through a medical challenge, and a total recovery and total remission, so we can start getting out there and just doing some kid stuff. Yep. That's what I am super wishing. And a wish for me for peace and harmony in my life. Yes. And more awesome headbands, because this is awesome. A wish for John, happy tummies. Happy tummies for John. Happy tums. Okay, that's weird. I am on a number 30 bright. This is from my TheArtSherpa brush line, and it is the most awesome brush in ever. Hey, where did my paint puck other thing go? I think I left it clean in the kitchen.
I think you were using it
because everyone's like, "Is it a bird feeder?" And then I could be like, "No, it's not.
It's a paint puck thingy."
So if you're going to notice, what I did is I dipped my brush a little bit in the water. I'm going to do it again, just the tip of the bristles here. I don't want it soaked. I don't want so much water that the paint isn't going to bind. If you're painting basics, don't even do this step. Like if you're painting loft or basics or craft paint, because it does not really need to be thinned. It's already thin enough on its own with pigment and binder. I'm just going to paint this whole little sucker brown. What? Yes, I am. I am doing what's called toning the canvas.
Ah.
I could underpaint the canvas, but I think I'm going to tone it.
No, whether you're on whether you're on a panel like this or a canvas, economy canvas, you're going to see some streakiness, right?
You are going to see some streaks because burnt umber is some transparent nonsense.
Yeah. So now,
I mean, I'm going to be able to blend it out in a way that you might not be able to. Why am I being so gleeful?
Well, I think
it's like somebody that got the only lollipop on the block who's like, it's so nummy. I'm going to.
I know why I'm gleeful. It's because we have like this. I think coming back from Made It Con and getting to hang out with so much of our audience and our community.
Yeah. And painting with them.
Yeah, I really got a sense of some of the questions and things like the streakiness on this canvas.
Yes.
It's going to take a couple of coats, right?
It's going to take so many layers.
Unless you would like it to be streaky.
Unless you would like it to be streaky, which is actually an effect you could go for. But this is really about the transparency and the fact that this is heavy body paint.
Yeah.
That's all that is. And that's what it should do. It should not be like a house paint. Not that there is anything wrong with house paint.
If you're
and
painting
yes,
houses.
you can actually use house paint underneath the paint.
Yeah. There's the artist rule.
The acrylic paints.
The artist rule that you can use anything for anything if you want.
Yes, as long as it doesn't explode.
Well, and there are some artists who break that rule too.
They do. Look, there are things like fat over lean, lean over fat, but that doesn't mean that there isn't an artist who hasn't figured out how to break that rule successfully.
Yeah. So
there's just very few rules in art, except try to have material safety in your art studio.
I think that it's a good way of, after being a non-artist myself, and I know we're just talking as you're toning your canvas there.
And I'm smoothing it out now because I'm having a streak self-consciousness.
Well, I like the streakiness.
Well, it's fine here because, again, we're toning the canvas. This is that first layer that's going to let all the other layers build up in the way that we want it to, and I'm just enjoying the noise.
Now, Gigi was just asking, she was like, where can I get those brushes? Luckily, there's a description there's a link in the description below.
So we have a totally new set of links. This is going to go right to the Silverbrush website, which has a really cool little mapping system, so you can find out if there's a local store near you that has them. For sure, go in there so you can feel them and touch them and be all in that. And also all the online retailers and all the global locations. Like I think we're in is it Romania?
I'm loving how many stores they're popping up all over the world with this.
Yeah, me too.
Anyway.
So I'm using my little paint puck in the bottom of my jar, and look at how much that gets out of my brush. I really, really like it.
Now, you really can use any brush you want.
Yes!
We just love, we're just celebratory that we get to have this fun
We
experience.
like our brushes because they're awesome. But yeah, frankly, you could finger paint. It would be okay. No one's going to come into your studio, into your kitchen, and slap it out of your hand. Be like, no.
Jennifer was asking.
Hi, Jennifer.
What's the difference between in a ground and an underpainting and toning?
Okay. A ground is all of the surfaces that you prep with that you paint on. So a ground could be something like absorbent ground. It could be a prep that lets you paint on glass. That's the surface that you paint on, your ground. Your ground could be raw linen.
Okay.
It's your surface that you're painting on. These are the preps, and they're not necessarily sealants or anything else, and you have to kind of read it label by label. Toning your canvas is where you take a solid color that you think is going to harmonize or have some color relationship to everything else that you're painting, and it's going to give you a more finished professional look, especially if you're painting very loose like we're going to today. An underpainting is where you do a tonal study, often a monochromatic one under your painting, to establish values before layering color overhead. Boom! Yeah, I was an A student. You know I was. You know I got them A's. Pop, pop. Hi, how are you? You at home today? Are you doing good? I hope so, because that's crazy. Okay, I'm going to dry this with my hair dryer.
Okay.
Fancy hair dryer that's all splattery. This is a fashion hair dryer.
Oh. So while she's doing that, what I will say is, oh my gosh, thank you guys for coming out. We are this is a big full house, so thank you guys for coming and hanging out with us. You check in the link in the description below, because you will find a link to the website where you can find the traceable and that reference photo, which you'll probably see us use. You'll be up here. We may change that up a bit. Cinnamon made that up, but you can find all that stuff on the website. In the link in the description below. And thank you guys for coming and hanging out with us today. We're feeling kind of fun and excited because, we recently have had this chance to go and hang out with our community, and, after having a couple of days of rest.
What?
And I was just saying that we're all kind of fun and filled with energy because, we went to Made It Con, and we saw all of our friends and our family, and then we came back, and then we slept for a couple days.
Well, and some seriously messed up stuff happened. And in the wake of that, you know what I did? I did? I got me some lavender honey tea and some manuka honey, and I got in my tub, and I put in some aromatherapy, and then I put on my Zen music and my undersea lighting, and I sat in that thing for 2 hours until I determined I'm going to paint anyways.
Paint on, Sherpa.
Hang with you guys.
We have a full house of people to hang with today. So
that's right. I got focused on the good stuff, and that is definitely been getting me through. You got to stay focused on the good stuff because you cannot control the bad stuff.
You know what was a magical thing this morning?
What was a magical thing this morning besides my coffee?
Well, when you were panicking and going, "Where's my hairpiece? Where's my hairpiece?" And we opened up the box from Crystal, and it was like, ta-da!
Ta-da!
This was waiting for us. That was
yeah. It's a good morning. You guys are kind of amazing.
You guys
seriously, at my lowest, darkest point, like yesterday, when I'm like, how I go on painting people are so evil. No, that's really where I was. Sometimes we're there. I was just like, let me show you the saddest, most betrayed painting you've ever seen. And I'll put it on the canvas and scare everybody to death. But then I was in the big art quest, and somebody had shared their deer makeup with me.
Oh, yeah.
And I just started to bawl. I'm like, there are good people in the world. Good people. Good people.
So what do you do?
All right, so now I'm going to have to block in some shapes and objects so that I know where the heck things are in this canvas.
Yeah.
This is not about drawing, and if you'd like to do this with me, you totally can. You can use the kind of chalk that you use on a chalkboard. This particular sharpened bit of kit is a General's Charcoal White pencil. They are very economic and available in a variety of places. Whoop! Come with me, canvas. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the space in which I feel
the ground,
that my bottle and glass will be on, and I need to leave room for my wall. So I'm going to make this little line across, and I'll tell you the height of that line that I'm making is 23 centimeters, or about 3 inches. So that's going to give me a little space, and then I know that I'm going to want to have some wall down here. I'm going to just use the width of my ruler, because that's just so easy. So now I have room, right, for a glass and a bottle to be. And I definitely need a place to sit them down and add some grapes. On top of that, I think what I'm going to do is I've got to make this little opening, this little arch. And the first thing that I think that I'm going to want to do is come over from the side and give myself a vertical line. I could probably freehand this whole thing in, but the truth is the vertical lines are not my friend. I'm going to approximate the same amount of vertical line over here, and then I'll tell you the measurements that I'm doing.
No.
So you can duplicate this at home if you feel like doing exactly what I do. It turns out this is about 1.5 inches. Oh my gosh, I fully eyeballed it. Okay, I don't know why I just became Roseanne Barr. And I'm going to come down a couple inches from the top and just make sure that I've got a line from the top of my arc.
Yeah,
You were saying,
Destiny was asking a question.
hi, Destiny. That was John's like, I've got to interrupt and ask a question. Hi, Destiny.
Well, no, it was a really good question, though, because it's something that I had found as well. That I've had trouble sharpening various brands of pencils.
Have you?
And what I found was it was the sharpener and not the pencil.
Well, it can be both. It can be either.
Yeah, but I mean,
But
more
a
often,
good sharpener makes a big difference.
it's the sharpener that makes a huge
That
difference.
is a weird place to go ahead and spend some resources on in your studio is your sharpener.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing is I'm just freehanding a little arc in here.
Mm-hmm.
Now here's a wonderful thing about a hand-built stucco wall that I just made up in my mind.
I hear the...
Yeah. Anti-ASMR.
I'm sure someone
You
loves
could
that
use
sound.
a plate or something if that was like also not your friend. If you're like, man, I don't dig it at all. Right. And then I'm going to come out here a little bit and I'm going to say that there is a bit of, some perspective that I have. You have perspective that says things go into the distance a bit. So to make that perspective work, I need to find my ruler again and give myself another line. I may need to change the depth of this bottom one to a little bit past my ruler so that I have... The reason I'm shortening this a bit is I want enough wall that I can paint some wall. But I still need some room to put a wine glass in a bottle. It's a balancing act when you're freehanding this in. I worked this all out. Is that fun?
Oh, you are just making everybody in the chat just go, ah!
Well, buckle up, buttercups. This is art. It's not for the weak.
Just tame your ears.
Tame your ears. So I'm going to come up here and I want to show that some of this arc is showing, right? So I'm going to come on this side and I will do what Nikki said. If I change, I will make sure I do an updated traceable,
Yes.
and like Nikki has asked for. And what I'm going to do is just make sure that that right after the show, I just do one and put it up. And that way you have whatever the heck I did here as well. So you have my first well-conceived, thought-out, free-handed traceable that I did, where I was just very calm and doing nothing but drawing. And now you have this, too, because you're special. Special, special peeps. So what I'm doing is I am creating a space, right, here. What's funny?
It's now humorous to hear, because everyone in chat, there's I myself am included in that noise. Just it hits the nerve.
It doesn't. It's fine.
And so they're
You're
just like,
fine. Toughen up, kiddos. It's just a thing. Right? You're fine. You're good. What's nice is over wet. It makes less of that noise, if that helps at all. There it is. It's back. Yeah. Suffer, villains. Suffer. All right. So now I have my little window box. Right? And I may change this a bit with my paint. I also need to have a distant horizon line, which I'm going to put in the upper third of my window. That will really help. Right? Everything above that's going to be some kind of, maybe I bring it down a little bit, some kind of sky mountain deal, which is really pretty in our Tuscan scene. I'm going to give myself some mountains here so I remember that they're there. The other thing that you want to remember is that you've got your little house, which is going to start out with a nice little square. Right? You've got your little house. It's a nice little square.
Yep.
Isn't that fun? And then you're going to put a little roof on it. We can all do that. A little triangle roof on the top. That's not scary yet, right? Not scary yet.
Now,
and
Sherry
then
was
I'm
asking...
going to do two bisecting lines. What? Okay, sorry.
Okay.
I will stop.
So Sherry was asking, the perspective lines there on the right and the left are a little different. And that's because you're not necessarily standing centered in the window, right?
Now I'm not.
But that's okay.
Yes.
So and that's what they were kind of like.
Now we got in here because we changed the relationship, and I freehanded this in again. I'm now foreshortening this just a little bit, where some of it is not in view, and that's okay. We're gonna have like all these little grapes right here, so don't be too stressed.
All right, that's just kind of what they were.
Your traceable is there. So basically your vanishing points are right here, so where your line's going. They're all coming like this, right? This will really help also, by the way, with your lavender.
Oh, yeah.
So that's about like my little vanishings happening here. Right there at the horizon line. Because where's your horizon line? That's your vanishing point. So like if I had a bunch of lavender that was coming near a house, right? Where's my vanishing point? It's right here. Right? See my vanishing point? Suddenly I'm like, oh, that's my crazy little vanishing point. That's cool. So I know these lines need to be parallel to that line. These lines have to come in like this. Right? If this had a line, it would be coming like that. Remember doing the boxes that were in 3D?
Yeah.
Same thing. And you're like, oh, and then you can do the window. It's just our little box. We have a whole quest on perspective, guys. If this is interesting to you, like how do we get the perspective? That's how we get it. Right? If I want to make a bit of lavender that's there, I know that I've got to make sure that it works with the vanishing point, right? Where does that bit of lavender go? Well, it goes to the vanishing point. Where does that bit of lavender go? To the vanishing point. The row over here, right? I've got some dirt, but it goes to the vanishing point, to the vanishing point. That's how, like in frescoes and stuff like that, they get those crazy perspectives. But right now, let's just brush in some information that we have so you can see it. And this is going to take a titch longer because we're not doing the traceable. Right? Now I'm going to be like dry brushing a lot of this. Right? So right now I'm just going to use some paint to remember what the heck I was thinking with this first bit of kit.
You're painting fast, so I'm going to zoom out here.
Yeah, I'm going to be painting a little bit fast. Right, so I know I've got my little window here. Again, if trying's not your thing, don't panic at this stage, guys. In any way, right? Just, you know, come in and use the traceable. If you're practicing drawing, this is a great one-point kind of perspective to sort of work on your horizon lines and your vanishing points easily. If you want to like examine more about that, you can try Circle Line Draw, the YouTube channel. I think they have some very good short little refreshing courses on architectural and very technical rendering on top of some nice fine art stuff. So see, I've got my little window there that I'm like, oh, there's a ledge there and I know where that is, and you can see that too a little bit. So now out on this rustic wall, I'm going to get a scruffy brush. You could get any scruffly brush that you want, but what you want is, I've got like a Cambridge here that's got some bristles. I've got a Silverstone here that's got some bristles. I'm going to add a titch of my titanium white. And you can even get some burnt sienna out if you like. And here's a weird trick if you've never done it. We're going to get a little diox into the mix here in a second. These colors are all listed in the description below. How is everybody doing? Because I got a little weird there for a minute.
No, this is going super fantastic. You know, they're just like, I'm feeling guilty because I don't have bubbles and music, and we've got over 600 people. Because that's still packed
from the thing.
Well, and I've just got, bubbles are definitely not out, and I've got to get the music machine fixed back up.
Let's get some coffee, because how else could we possibly paint this? Scruffy little brush.
Super wonderful family crew of people out here, all giving us lots of love.
Now I'm going to do a cool thing. I'm going to take a little bit of this purple. See how I just got it on the tip of my bristles?
Yeah.
And see how the way I like almost like rouged it right here? And I'm going to get that right into my yellow ochre. Purple is the complement of yellow, and by just mixing those together, you can desaturate just a touch. I can even get a little brown into that, your yellow ochre, so it's not so bright. And I'm going to just, look at this, I'm just going to kind of scumble this little brush around, right? It's always good to have a good scumbly brush. If you're going to be doing landscapes, if you're going to be doing any Tuscan scenes or street scenes, a good scumbly little brush is your friend. Say, hi brush friend. Hi friend. Let's make an arch. And let's age it out. Now this is going to take less days than my last aged Tuscan wall, which was many days and stucco. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to just come along here. And you can see I'm just being rough, aren't I?
Yeah.
I'm just going to be rough. I don't want to be neat and tidy. And now already the streakiness is sort of even helping me because we're trying to say this is an old rustic wall. I'm not trying to paint every divot in the old rustic wall. We're just trying to say this wall is also old and rustic. And we'll switch to the square scruffly brush for the inside of the arc, but right now this big round one is doing some work for me. I'll list it. I think it's a nice little guy to have around. Just going. Keep some little. I've also got this. This one's one of my favorite because it's got copper on it. This is the Grand Prix.
You're just. And this is one of the things that
I just want to show you that it doesn't. You know, like this is a Grand Prix number 12, same size brush, also round. Right.
So this is something that I've noticed that Cinnamon does. At just whether you guys are here or not, she will switch between 3 or 4 different brushes until she finds the scumble she's looking for.
Well, no, this one does the exact same scumble. I'm illustrating that you can scumble.
You can scumble with anything.
Yeah, you can scumble. But now I get to have my steampunk copper handle, which is important stuff. Hold on one second, guys.
What you doing? Where you going? Sherpa left the room.
That's right. Secret, and you guys don't get to know it. Now I'm loading my brush up with just the ochre. Right? I've got my Cambridge here. It's just a number 12 round with bristles. I think the best one you could probably do is the Cambridge. I mean, the Grand Prix is like one of the best oil brushes I've ever seen, but the Cambridge is probably best for new students in acrylic. Like, I love these and I keep them around, but it's real easy to keep for me to keep them from getting like too wet in the water. Yes, I said that out loud. Too wet in the water. That's a thing that can happen to your brush if you're painting acrylic. Can you see how we're just rusticking up this wall? It's almost done. Is that crazy?
Yeah, now all of these, everything. Sorry, wrong button. Now, the other one you were using, the Silverstone, it's a Silver's premium hog bristle. And the one you're using is the synthetic.
This one here is the Grand Prix, and this is, I think, one of the best oil brushes on the planet, but only because every oil artist says to me, oh, I love this brush.
Yeah.
But they're both hog bristle brushes.
Okay.
And they're both well dressed. I find this one to be the hardiest of the two.
Yeah.
Right, obviously. It's a very hardy brush.
You could use just any of these things.
Yes.
That's the important thing. Whatever you
What
use.
I will point out is what is not on my canvas, John. What is not happening on my canvas?
Okay, so this is the
shedding.
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 Okay.
I'm using a bristle brush, and because I'm using one that's from a good company.
You know when somebody calls on you in class and's like,
yeah, I do that to you all the time.
John, what is the answer to this question? I'm like,
I'm adding white to my ochre while you complain, okay?
Okay, sorry.
No, keep complaining. I'm just letting people know what I'm doing.
Okay.
I just want to add just this extra little layer bit. See how that just really, really ages out my wall? You can come right here to the edge. And I'm going to just age this just a bit because it's fun for me. It's going to be a really pretty painting, guys. This is going to be the kind of painting that your mother-in-law comes over and tries to steal from you right off your kitchen wall. Where you're like, hey, maybe you are the mother-in-law. Go, and your daughter-in-law's doing it. Or your son-in-law's doing it. Get over there and steal that painting right off their kitchen wall. Right? Don't let them just keep that awesome painting. You get it. Go get it. Run.
Can I ask a question?
Run like the Sherpa when they say there's coffee and brownies. Like 5 people who were at the event got that and went, man, I wish that was on camera. Best thing that didn't get on camera at Made It Con was during the Make It Go Round where I taught 100 people to paint an ATC, there's this announcement by Vince saying, for the next 15 minutes we will be breaking for coffee and a brownie. And I'm at the table and I said, you know what I've got to do right now? And they all looked at me and I'm like, run. And I dropped my materials and like a small child booked to the back of the hall and
Yeah.
kicked in the door and like skidded to the coffee. I'm like, power up.
No,
it wasn't a good moment. I don't know why I'm laughing about it.
No, it was hilarious.
It's like, she's not going to share that coffee.
Can I ask a question about what you're doing there?
I'm just aging and lightening some of this. Yes, you can ask any questions you want.
Okay, so it looks like you're lightening it around the inside lip more than you are
the outer edge. Well, because I'm going to darken, I'm going to put this kind of little area in shadow. And actually, I might darken this down here. I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to take a little of my brown into my yellow ochre and darken it a bit. If you need to get some purple, go ahead and do that, right? Because you're going to age this down here. Because maybe I'll put some sunlight. I think I'll put some sunlight right here. So I'm going to age this. Like you do, you're going to age it. Who's aging it? Age your canvas, not your face.
Ooh, Samantha says that she got the easel that she got at Made It Con set up for the first time and loves it.
Really?
Yeah.
What angle do you have it adjusted to?
Yeah, that was the
I'm so curious about the angle you have it adjusted to. We're very focused in teach painting here.
Yes, most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But
If
you've been
leave
here
a
before.
comment otherwise,
probably.
I will block you. No, just kidding. Sherpa's out of humor this week. That's terrible. All right, so I'm going to take a little of my burnt umber into my yellow ochre, and now I'm dry brushing with a silver Cambridge, my favorite of the acrylic brushes.
Now,
that
could
have
you do this with
bristles.
sponges?
Huh?
Could you do this with sponges?
Oh, you could so do this with sponges. Listen, there's about a gazillion techniques that I've already showed you guys because I love you so much, right? Where you could do this. I'm going to get a little burnt sienna into this and really like age it up. And so you could do any of those things and it would be okay. Now I'm pulling my stroke kind of inward on this, but still going to age it. Right? We're still going to age this out. And
Donna
I'm going
said you
to
look
come
like
right
the
here and I'm going to
Flash.
go back and forth.
Donna said you look like the Flash when you were running for that coffee.
Did I look like the Flash? I felt like the Flash. I was like, I should have just gone like this. I should have gone, Barry Allen! And booked it. And there's nothing like when you're in a room full of adults, mostly women. Not entirely, but mostly women. And you just act like a complete fool, like you don't even care because you're like, I need the coffee and that brownie really bad. And I've counted you and I know they didn't stock enough.
In all fairness, you were not the only one running for the table.
Oh, did I start it?
Oh yeah, there was a.
I
wait,
feel
we
like
can
I
run.
started it.
Yeah, once you jet like that
Everybody
was permission.
jets. I knew that I was definitely setting a very bad example, and I was afraid like maybe it would be like, well, that's not very Christian.
Absolutely. Like if the Sherpa can run, I'm running.
She's so compassionate and loving and inclusive, but I thought that might be just like one thing too far.
Run for the cookies.
Look, cookies are no joke, right? And you're going to give me only 15 minutes to get to those cookies. I am darkening this little far corner here. Can you see I'm darkening it a bit with my purple? Because I want to. They're no joke, and if there's going to be a limited amount of time to get said cookies, then you got to expect people to book.
Now, Nikki was...
Hi, Nikki.
She's asking an interesting question. She says that she's noticing that your paint isn't lifting even though you haven't used the dryer.
Oh, no. No. It's really going to stick to this canvas. There's a combo here of the dryness in my studio's accelerating drying on the canvas.
Panel.
The panel. Well, surface. Dude, I don't... Like, it's ampersand, okay? Yay! Unsponsored video. Woo! Can I call Canvas now? Anyhow. Beth is not here. The surface of which I paint, right? I'm painting on my little surface. I am just trying to create, like, the impression. Now, I can put some dark right here because I'm going to have grapes and wine over here. And so, like, coming here now with a little bit of shadow is going to save me some trouble later. And yeah, I did it with purple. Is that wild? I could get black. That's doable. But I'm not gonna. This is not about, seriously, this will not be about painting the most meticulous anything that you've ever painted. This really is about creating the light and expression and feeling of Tuscan sunlight. Yes, did I invoke the Diane? Yes, I did. Diane Lane? Yes, I did. Invoked. Don't make me invoke the notebook, y'all, because I will. John doesn't know what I'm talking about because he won't rom-com. He'll do some rom-com with me, but he won't deep rom-com.
That's true.
And frankly, Highlander lost me a lot of credibility. I had him real good at first with the war and the kilts and the history, but it took that weird turn at the end of the season. And John was just like, not loving it. Not loving it.
Just took some unexpected, deep, romantic turns.
The romantic turns were all fine, but violence is never okay. It's never okay. All right. So I am absolutely going to add a little sunlight right here. And I'm going to do that by grabbing just a little at this moment of my yellow ochre and some white. And I'm going to come here and I'm going to brush this over. And you can see it's pretty saturated and it's going to make a very nice little sort of sunlight falling on this space. Later, I will be super grateful for this when I try to capture my sunlight. And I can bring it to the back here because obviously before they cast a shadow, they would have light behind them, so that's okay. But now I have that in front of me. And there we go. How's that?
Looking really good.
Yeah, isn't that fun? Now let's get in some landscapes and some stuff so we can put a bottle in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that we can put down right now is a little bit of our brown and our deep purple. Right? We're doing our brown and our docks purple. And let's, through this landscape, just sort of fill that all in around our little house. Right? And you're like, I accidentally get some white on there. Don't do that. It's not going to mess me up. But you're going to want to just be like brown and purple. Just a mix, a loosely mixed brown and purple. And that's going to eventually be the ground that's showing between your lavender. Don't you feel excited?
Yes.
To have ground between your lavender.
Now you're putting a little bit of an arc to this.
I guess I am. And then I'm just painting very loosely. I haven't switched from my Cambridge. Cambridge is made by the brush company that makes my brushes. I kind of like a lot of their products. So you may see me even switch out of my own brush line. Because apparently I have no dreams and aspirations. No, just because sometimes, you know, other tools are there. This is included in my Explorer set, but you can also get these open stock. I made sure everything that we offered had open stock, and what that generally means is that you can go get one of two. That way, you know, if your local art store or supplier, for some crazy reason we don't understand, doesn't have silver brush, couldn't understand why you wouldn't have silver brush. But if for some crazy reason you didn't have silver, you know, my brushes, right, and they had silver, you could get that, and then you should just tell them to carry silver brush. I don't know what I'm talking about today, John.
You're in, like, spread the love mode today.
I am. What's going on? Let's make a dark ground here.
Although I like...
That's right. I just scumbled that whole thing in.
You just...
Listen, if you come in right now and you're like, this woman has hundreds of people watching her paint and she can't paint, for goodness sake, come back and check at the end before you hit a down thumb. I'm actually pretty good. Give me a minute. We are all doing this painting. Wait to see them on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Then you'll know. We're so awesome.
Then you'll know why all the Sherpettes do what we do.
That is why, because they do what we do.
Well,
So
like you do. Like you do.
Like somebody does.
Like somebody does.
Somebody somewhere does this, okay?
All right, so that archy angle-y thing you does kind of creates a forced perspective. Right?
Yeah, I'm just sort of implying. You could do this on your wall, too, where you have this little angle, and the angle, you know, it's shadowed, and then you put objects there, and it's a great mural. You do this, too. Force you to see my perspective. That's a very controlling conversational way of wording it, isn't it? Like I'm just forcing the viewer to see my worldview. When in reality, I can't even force people to see sense. Can't do it. Have tried. Have tried.
Oh, I gotta put the picture. There it is. Okay. Yep. Every paint. You're.
I'm just covering this all with this dark value, right? And making sure my horizon line is level.
You're blocking it in.
I'm just blocking it in. It's almost an underpainting at this point, except it's not monochromatic. But I'm putting in that first layer, and as these things build up, you're going to be like, oh, wow, that's just so good. And I'm going to be like, yeah, I totally know it is pretty awesome sauce. I know, I'm so cool. We have lots of leaves and stuff to put in. We're going to be here for about an hour and a half, I think, maybe 2.
We're about 43 minutes into this.
It doesn't even feel 43. It feels like 20.
I know.
Also, it feels like I should probably almost be done with this.
Well, even just sort of, you know, this
it's
is like
actually, this is, you know, this is an involved painting.
It is.
But it's one that you guys always want to do, so. Once I have that dark value in, that's going to help me build my lavender up and have nice little bits of landscape showing. You can take a little of your burnt umber and your burnt sienna. And this is sort of interesting. Just go ahead here every once in a while. See how I'm doing this little back and forth, very open?
Yeah.
This is going to make this really cool ground that's going to peek through so that as you paint your lavender, it's going to feel like it's on rough earth. Are you on rough earth? Yes, you are.
I've been on thin ice before.
You're on thin ice all the time, buddy. Sorry. Get ready for the Margot, guys. I have a very, very low tolerance to extortion. I tend to go crazy afterwards. No telling what I might do or paint or say. None, as John sits back there at the mic panicking. So you're just going to brush back and forth, back and forth. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. So I'm just getting this back and forth, back and forth. See how I'm leaving a lot of the purple in there?
Yep.
Just real fast, just load your brush up with a little bit of ochre. Do not rinse out. See how the dirtiness of the pigment's on there? You know, and then I'm going to just put in a couple little bits of highlights so that when the earth is peeking through, don't be too precious here. You just need some. Right? You just need some in this layering so that when you put your beautiful little lavender in, it's like, oh, look at that lovely earth peeking out. It's so beautiful. And I'm going to be like, yeah, I know. It's so totally awesome. Now, I'm going to put in this really fun sky. And to put in my really fun sky, I have to put out some extra colors and drink some coffee. How? Because it's going to power me through the sky. How are you doing?
Pretty good.
Good. I have flowers on my head.
Yes, you do.
I have so many flowers on my head.
Now,
Flowers on my head and anger in my heart. I'm coming for you where you live. Nope, that's fine. I did this little bunny foo-foo the other day that I didn't put up on Twitter because I don't know what wrong with me in the middle of the little bunny foo-foo. I shared it with close friends. They were like, oh, you're in a space. You know how your friends do when they're like, oh, it's going to be that week.
Yup.
Yup. Oh, yeah.
You just put it on the canvas.
I'm probably going to do that too. Put it on the canvas. Whoops. Gonna put it everywhere. Okie dokie. So these are the colors that I'm going to be using to paint my sky, including white. So what I have put out now is Doc's Purple, Quinacridone Magenta. Today is, interestingly enough, Ultramarine Blue. And then a little Cad Yellow. I'm going to rinse out my brush super well. And I'm going to have a good time putting in my happy little sky. So first, I'm going to put in my yellow, which is going to be a little bit of my Cad on the brush and a bunch of my white. Here we go. I just want some nice little yellow space here. And I want you just to go back and forth. See how I'm going back and forth? This is this little sunset cloud space. All right. I'm going to come up to my arch, and that's where my sky is going to stop. I'm going to get a little more yellow on my brush. I hear John frantically talking to the community. Has she gone crazy? Crazy like a fox.
Nah.
Why can't foxes are cool? What does the fox say? Content ID. No, I don't sing well enough for Content ID. You never have to worry here. It doesn't recognize me on YouTube as being a singer at all in any way. I'm going to get a little more white on my brush. I'm not going to rinse this out. I'm going to come right in the middle. Can you see the direction in my stroke? I'm swooping back and forth, swooping back and forth, swooping back and forth. Yay, swooping. All right, now I'm going to take a little of my yellow, just a smidge, over to my quinacridone. I'm going to get a little white on there, just a smidge, just a smidge. And I'm going to come here and add some of this very bright color. Can you guys see this? And pull it into the clouds. See how I'm doing that? When I'm coming to the edge, I can be a little bit precious, but mostly I'm going to just pull this in. And then I'm going to come under here as well and add just a little bit of a line of that. You can even get a little more quinacridone on your brush and some white so it goes a little more pink. See how pink that gets?
Mm-hmm.
That's super fun. Just adding a little pink.
These are amazing clouds.
Are they?
Yes.
Okay. I'm so glad. Now, while you've got this pink on here, you can go ahead and add a little bit around your building at what the top of your mountains will eventually be. I push it down a bit.
Now, it's okay the lines are underneath there?
Yes.
Even where you painted up above?
Yeah.
That's okay.
We're going to be layering.
Oh, okay. There'll be more to this.
Yeah. If you're ever worried about your lines, though, guys, remember that you can always take it right into my yellow and back into a ton of my white. And I'm going to just brush this through. See how we're brushing that into it? I'll come back with my blue in a minute. I just want to make sure that I have some of the glow that I need in my sky. And I'll come below my mountain line here, just brushing loosely back and forth. See it just brushing loosely back and forth. Now, one of my faves is my quinacridone can tone my ultramarine quite a lot, and I can get a good bit of it white onto my brush, like you do. See, I'm getting a good bit of white. And you're going to get this very light, look how light it is, kind of blues color, and I'm going to come through here and blow in just a little bit of this. Just a little bit of this. This is just this Tuscan sunset. Just a little bit of this. Yeah, there we go. We're just having a little Tuscan sunset moment. You can get a little more blue on there and add just a smidge of slightly stronger blue at the where these two join. See how we're just adding a little bit of stronger blue? And we're going to look at it from a distance for a second. Getting better.
No, wrong button. There it goes.
Hmm?
I couldn't get picture-in-picture to disappear.
You couldn't get picture-in-picture to disappear. Now I just wiped off my brush and I'm going to add a lot of white to it. Put a little yellow in it.
Now,
I'm
Margaret
going
was
to
asking,
just blend these kind of spaces together a little
I got all spaced out watching you put the clouds in.
Oh, okay. Well, they're just, they're fun.
Margaret was asking,
Hi,
have you
Margaret.
used the high flow of paint before?
I have used high flow. I've used fluid, high flow, and heavy body paints.
Okay, so is fluid and high flow the same thing?
High flow in the golden paint line is an ink, and fluid is a soft body.
Where'd you go?
Here you go. Fluid acrylic.
Ah,
High flow.
and those are inks. Oh.
An inconsistency, it's not. It's got a airbrush medium in it and as much pigment as that has. This has a self-leveling medium in it. This has a medium that holds its body and stroke.
Gotcha.
Gotcha! Isn't that cool?
That was a very accurate demonstration.
Well, I mean, we could dance around it all day, but why? When we could just show not tell. Show not tell.
Now, this sky, I kind of spaced out watching you put. I always kind of do when you putting clouds in because
Yeah, they're just so fun. I notice in my brush strokes, I'm kind of blowing my sky a direction, like things are blowing through.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to come up here. I've just mixed loosely. See how loosely my quinacridone and white is mixed? Just making sure. That we've got a little bit of that working really well there. Put a little darker purple. And you'll get a little more quinacridone.
Everyone's just like, dude, that was the best demonstration of fluid versus high flow I've ever seen.
Oh, good. Maybe I should make just a video. High flow versus fluid. 30 seconds. There you go. I'm just adding these colors here to kind of, create some shape and thought in my sky. You can see I'm just sort of scumbling them around, up over the building, saying that they're sort of clouds. You can always come in and get quite a lot of white in there and just make sure that I'm just tapping that in, huh? Getting that in my sky. I've rinsed out, dried off. I'm going to get a little of my yellow, my quinacridone. And I'm going to just make sure that we've got a nice little bit here. So I take the little orange, quinacridone, yellow, and a little white. I'm going to wipe off, but not rinse. Load up with some yellow. And quite a lot of white. Again. And just make sure that I've got this center looking quite painterly and...
I love the chromoluminous clouds.
Yeah, aren't they awesome? Look at that. Now that's the sky. Nature whatevs.
Done with quinacridones and cadmiums and
ultramarines, which some artists say aren't very good colors, but I say are awesome colors when you understand bias.
I like them. Look, they're all pretty even on the canvas.
Mm-hmm.
Canvased. Or I mean on the palette.
So I'm going to take a little of my purple to my ultramarine. Just a little bit. I'm going to grab some brown into it, shockingly. See how I added some brown?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to create a very, very light mix of this. And I'm going to do something that's going to be a little bit shocking. That's right, I just added orange. Why would I do that? It's such a weird color. And now it's disappearing onto the palette. Because anything more centrally focused in the sunset will have a warmth to it. That is why you bother. That's what happened there. Just add a little more white. So I'm just making these distant and far away little hills. They have some warmth to them. What?
Emily just said the funniest thing. She's like, Sherpa, you're changing my attitude about these nasty, stiff bristle brushes. Scumblers. Who knew?
Yeah, scumblings. Scumblings. That's what they're for. I don't know, some artists use them for other things, but I say no. Scumble as you go.
And art high fives to Jose, who just sold the first 3 paintings.
Excellent. Congratulations, Jose.
I'm hoping that I'm pronouncing that in the right way.
You never are.
Several different ways that you can pronounce every name, as I have discovered. And I'm bad at it.
Yeah, we didn't even know that was a problem that John really had until we found out, oh my gosh.
Well, did you know that you could pronounce Cecil as Cecile? I did, but not really until I was
told. No,
yeah,
it's
I was
Cecile.
like, duh. Well, yeah, that makes sense.
So I'm getting this into this orange color. See how I've added a little quinacridone into the purple and the orange? I'm warming this up right here. We're warming this up. See how we're warming it up?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're distant and they're far away and they would be warm. Now I can get into my other purple, which can now be darker, which is again a little of the ultramarine and the purple mixed with some brown to knock it back. And that can come here, because these are closer, and be these mountains. Oh, like, look, we got distant little mountains. Aren't we awesome? Awesome flossoms. Isn't that great?
Yeah. I like the purple mountains. I think it was when we took that drive through the desert and we actually saw purple mountains. That was cool.
Majesty. You'd always
they are
add
majestic, aren't they?
Majestic purple mountains. I shall now write a ballad that all grade school children will sing into perpetuity. Yay. All right, so now we have the distant mountains. We have everything ready for our cabin. I'm going to put out, I think, some of my other palette. I'm going to put out my green. Like you do. Do you like to? I like to. I'm going to put out my black. I'm going to reserve my cad red until I get to my grapes. And my lizard to see if I use them. Because I might not. I know, it's shocking. All right, so now I'm going to paint this background. I'm going to take a little of my quinacridone to my burnt umber, and I'm going to add a smidge of black to it.
Just a smidge.
Just a smidge. And the first thing that I'm going to do is just sort of paint in my square that I has going of my building. Yay, yay, yay. Alright, so there's that first part of that square. Added some purple in there, kept adding some brown. I'm just making sure that I've got that worked out, and then let's get the vanishing here. So I'm just making sure I don't lose my shape. Sometimes you'll see me drag my brush just to make sure that I've still got shape here. No, I'm not going to worry about weird green, perverse looking little tree. For that very reason, because we know how that goes for me. So I'm not going to do that. And now I'm going to just make sure that I plant in a nice little roof. See my little roof?
Yeah. So Verlinda J says that if I ever wanted to read out one of her questions, I could just say Vivi so I wouldn't butcher her name.
Oh, cool.
But I was like, nope, you're going to have to jump in there with everyone else, and I'm going to make a mistake.
Did you?
Well, I'm pretty sure Verlinda J is not how you say it. But that's all the
continents and letters together. You didn't want her to get left out of what, we do.
Right.
He just cares. That's all. He just cares so much.
Yeah. I don't know what V and L's do together.
So I'm going to just make this nice little stone building. I'm dry brushing. It's a light brush. You can see my pressure is light. I'm letting it be streaky. Right, front of the building has to be where my little corner of my roof is. Getting a little more white here because this side of the building would have more exposure than the front side, right?
Mm-hmm.
As with the roof. And I'm just painting it real loosely because it's far away, man. Let's get some, I'm going to get a little yellow on here. Oh, such a color. But a little bit of this on my roof will be awesome sauce.
See, now I'm going to have to learn how to pronounce her name because it means butterfly.
I'm going to just add a little of this nice yellow right here, like you do. See? I'm saying this is in light.
Now, you lit that. You super lit that. That's like...
Yeah.
Like more lit than the
more human than human, man.
It is. I wasn't going to go Rob Zombie on it, but man, it screams it.
Wait until we put in our lavender. Look, this is a painting, right? You've got grapes, you've got wine, you've got lavender. Any one of these things would have been a lot to do. But this is the one that you hang on your wall and you frame and you love, and it makes your home just like a complete retreat. Which is what you wanted, right? Because that's what you get. So I'm taking a little of my burnt umber, a little of my purple, a little of my black. I'm going to put just a loosely painted window right here. Right, just a little bit. I'm going to pay attention to the perspective lines, but I'm not going to worry too much. Another loosely painted window. You can come under your roof if you like. And you can add some stones and a little bit of character to the building.
I like them.
A little bit of stones and character. See, I'm just dancing that around, a little bit of stones and character. Yes, we're going to have a whole bunch of lavender there. But once you get that basically in, then it's there and you can do something about it. Guess what part is next? The beginning of the fun part. So first I'm going to take my my burnt sienna and my phthalo green, and I'm going to mix them together. And I'm going to use them to just really quick remember, like, where's my vanishing point? So my vanishing point is like right here. This comes up to about here. And it's going to come back this way to vanish, right?
These are the rows of lavender?
We're going to start kind of thinking about the rows of lavender.
Ah.
And it's, you know, it's pretty foreshortened, so it's going to come to about like a total of like maybe here. I may have to come back a bit, but you know. And I'm going to start this green. Right? I'm going to start this green here. Gonna start this green. This is like gonna be underneath in the front. If you're worried for any reason that you got those in too far, remember you can always come back with your first colors, right? And break up that line, can't you? Look at that. So that's how you would erase any mistakes, or you could just use chalk. Everybody see how I would fix that?
Yeah.
So like if you're like, oh, I want to be able to move those and I want it still to look like ground, you just sort of hide it with paint.
Ooh. We have, so I saw that we had a 21-month-old little brush painting with us today.
Woo! Hi, little brush!
What
is our little brush's name?
I think it was Lucia.
Lucia?
It was really early on. I couldn't catch it when it came by.
Okay.
And we have a 72-year-old little brush, Mary, with us today.
Hi, Mary. How are you?
So we have lots of little brushes all over the place today.
You matter to Mary for sure, for sure, for sure.
Well, I was just impressed.
For sure, Mary.
I'm just always impressed at the spectrum of brushes we have with us.
Isn't it always awesome? Look how my green, like if I get into my pure green pigment, look how it pops over everything. It's just crazy, that phthalo, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But the phthalo is the burnt sienna and the phthalo. We don't have to take the green back too far. You know, at some point you can actually just kind of scumble it back like that and say, all right, there's the part where you want to see the brush strokes, and then there's the part where you can just be like, oh, I don't need to see no brush strokes. It's just not super important at this moment. But up front where you want to see them, you know, look at, I just used the pure phthalo. I'm going to do a crazy thing in here though, guys. You ready? If I put a little cad yellow on my brush, I can now pop just up front, just close to us, a smidge of the pattern that the lavender would make. See how I'm just barely putting anything in?
Yeah.
If you get too crazy with this, it will ruin the effect. Now, I can take my phthalo, like you do, and my burnt umber. And I can also come here and I can be like, oh, hey, I know for sure.
Coffee.
Right, that I would have this here, because there's going to be some lavender there. Go ahead and paint that whole square in and bring that row back. You're going to want to bring that row back.
Craig, I'm with Craig. He's like, sometimes I hold my breath when the Sherpa's painting because I'm like so like invested in what the outcome is.
Don't worry, I got this outcome. I do this all the time. I know this one real well.
Oh no, me too. But it's like I get it because like all the time I'll find myself like breathe because I'm watching you do like the clouds.
I'm gonna add a little of my purple to my green and my brown mixture as I'm going along. Right, because I want to make sure that I've got a nice shadow happening like that's going to happen here. Right, it's going to happen there. There's going to be a nice little bush line right here, and then it's going to have a little friend right here.
Now, I'm going to ask.
It's going to have a little bush line right there. So, see what I'm doing? I'm giving it the shadows that I can build on. I'm just making sure I've got my little shadow lines. But look, am I being that particular worried? No, not.
Now, Emily asked a very interesting...
It's already starting perspective. Yes, Emily!
Well, she was asking a very
an
interesting question here. Actually, you'll need to step to the other side to answer this. But when you constructed this, she was asking about your focal point, whether it was the sky, the glass, or the the sky or the glass or the building. And I noticed that you actually created some circular design in this, but I wanted you to be able to talk about that.
So I would say the primary focal point, the first focal point that pulls you into the painting is the wine and the glass. But because you have the lines of the lavender taking you to the sky and the building, it pulls you back in. If the sky sweeps you up, right, because all the lines are going one direction, you get caught up in the grapes, but the grapes circle around back down and drop you into what? The glass and the wine. And this is how you trap a viewer onto your canvas in an infinite loop of, I'm just falling in all day. It's the whole thing. They used to get really mathematical with art. Do not get that mathematical with art, but I understand mathematicalness with art is the whole thing. Right? So, like, I celebrate it. I just recognize that I'm not it.
You are the maths.
I am the math. Now, this one I'm kind of doing an upward brushstroke because I know that there's going to be, like, this whole space. And then I'm going to take this up to about here. And I'm going to just take this green row kind of scumbled in. It goes a little bit above the building into there. And then, of course, it has a little friend that's right here that scumbles in. That's like, you know, he's like a little lavender thing, and then that's a little lavender thing. So that's how we get the little lavender perspective going far, far away. We're not going to see it, though, that well until we rinse out our brush so much that it's completely clean. Get fresh water now if you need it, because one of my favorite parts of a painting like this is about to happen, which is, of course, the lavender itself. It's like why we all showed up. Tomorrow's lavender is super easy. It's like a one hoot. It's like Q-tips. Super, super easy. Today, we're like lavendering. And to that end, I'm going to do a little of my ultramarine and my Diox purple. And I'm going to get just a smidge of white so I can see the color a small amount. See how I'm doing? And then you're going to, even darker than that, make little spikes. Now, obviously, they stop at your building, but that's what you're doing, is you're making little spikes. These are dark. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have lighter ones. You absolutely are. I'm just tapping this in. Can you see me tapping it in?
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. You're just tapping it in. Don't rush. Enjoy it. You're planting flowers. We all love to plant flowers. Look, poppies are so fun to paint, and lavender is so fun to paint. There's a lot of layers, but in actuality, it's pretty easy. I don't want it to be too light yet. I'm just kind of working this right now. See how we're doing? You can kind of start to see it. Now, one fun thing that you can do, right? Just a little white in there, is you can come to the back here and you can just tap in. Look how we're doing. Even darker. Leave the green to show through. You're just tapping in back here. Right, like this taps in back here. You're just tapping in this little lavender row as it comes forward. Feel like you can bunch these. They grow in these weird little clumps. Can you see it coming in?
Yeah.
We get detailed as we come forward to this front bunch, but the rest of it we put in a very painterly way. And we do have a plan on how we're going to brighten it up and bring the sunset into it, but right now we've just got to get these deep values like laid in. On all of our rows. If your brush gets dry, you can always get it wet again. Just a smidge of the white just to have it show. Remember back here it's super distant, so you can be like, oh, you can't see. It's just, oh, it's so far away in the distance. Right? In that distance, there we go. Coming forward with our little lavender lines. The trick with the lavender is more the lines than anything else. You're just tapping that in, letting the green show through because it's there, right? We painted it in for the reason so it can peek through. peeking through. So when I made this, what I did is I found elements. I kind of did a little sketch saying I want a story that talks about these things, about wine and countryside and window views. I think window views are super important, especially if maybe in our real life we don't have the best view from our window. I think painting becomes super critical then. Look at that, just fun but yet messy little bunch of lavender that I put in.
Now, Donna D made
just a smidge of the white.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Yes.
No, what were you saying?
No. I don't know. I don't know.
So I was just reading. Donna D and I were chatting back and forth in chat here. And she was saying that she was asking, did the quality of materials you were using make a big difference in your coverage and experience?
Yes. Huge difference.
And that's what I'd said in chat. I was just commenting back that oftentimes the quality of the materials makes a difference in your ability to cover and do things. But you were busy painting, so I just chatted it to her.
Oh, okay. No, that's absolutely true. That's a very good point. Thank you for bringing it up, babe.
But what she said interesting back is that she was really interested in that because she was so disappointed with the previous experience that she didn't want to continue. But seeing you do this and getting the coverage you're getting, she's really interested in trying it again.
So what I would say is it's not just like where you spend a lot of money and you buy the most expensive paint. That's not it. Some companies are owned by people who are such passionate artists, like not even funny. Yeah. They're about the material and the pigment, the sourcing and the history and your experience and making sure that you have a great experience every time. Sometimes companies have an old name, but they're actually under new management and maybe those things are not as valued.
Yeah.
And you've kind of got to go by, do they answer your questions? Do they always give you quality product? When you get your titanium white, does it cover over like dark marks easily? Because if stuff just feels like, if you just feel like you're struggling to get every brush stroke out, there's a lot of stuff that could be going wrong. Two things are the surface you're painting on and the tools you're using, like your brushes and your paint. They can impact you.
Yeah, for sure. That ampersand panel there
makes it so much easier.
Well, and the
I grabbed some quinacridone.
Yep.
Mostly just because I wasn't thinking, and that happened.
You got quinacridone magenta?
It's okay. It warms it up. I'm going to be warming up back here anyways. Now I'm just tapping this along this horizon line, and you're really going to see this come together. What's going to be really nice is like when we have HD, you're really going to be able to see every row. Right? But right now I just want to have like some, I see that's too much white art too soon. I want to make sure that I've got some deep purple and deep green in there before I pop these bright colors, because once those get on, it's on, right? Like they're on. And I've got to make sure that like this sense of depth exists. Hey babe, I'm so sorry. Like one of the things, like sometimes it's hard for John and I because we can't see each other and there's a delay.
Oh no, you're fine.
And I'm not trying to talk over John at all.
No, not at all. And
are we good? So we've got rows now. Are we ready for the money? Here we go. Get the quinacridone on your brush. And then you're going to pick up a little white with it. Oh, wow. What's happening there? Yeah, that's happening.
I love this part of the flowers coming in.
Yeah, me too. Look at these little guys. Aren't they just wonderful? Aren't they just fantastic? Oh my goodness, I'm just painting lavender. See, we're just tapping up. Spike flowers are a lot of fun to paint. Blue bonnets, lupines, just anything, especially if they're in a field, lavender, they're just a lot of fun to paint. Lots of fun. You know, and just come back here and be like, oh, so pretty. You know, and you can just do like some clumps. Can't you? Really,
yeah.
You can do some clumps. Get a little more purple on there, but it's all right because you're still just doing some clumps, right? How's that? Let me see that big. Oh, are we starting to see them? Are they coming through?
Yeah.
My screen's super dim, so I can't see how you guys see them.
Yeah, I really like how it's turning out.
Yeah, it's just fun. Little clump, 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 clump. Oh, here's another little clump. It found its way. I'm going to definitely maybe light more of the top of the rows, letting the row be dark here at the edge so that they have some shadow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, sometimes I could get some purple and a little ultramarine blue on there and some white as well. See? And get some different kind of value of purple happening.
They're loving the purple. There's some purple love happening.
Purple is just the best color.
Well, I know.
Best.
I have some other
Best.
colors that I hang out with.
Best.
We like other colors too.
Best.
That's okay.
Best. Sherpa says so best. I use my power for color domination, I guess. My influencer power is used for color domination. But you can just see where I'm like popping these up.
Me, cobalt blue, and Yinman blue will be out hanging out at the curb.
Okay.
We're not loved anymore.
I'm not saying you're not loved, just saying you're not purple. Come up with a new purple, see me get excited. That's what I need some scientists to invent. What are they up to?
New high reflective Sherpa purple.
How are those rows? Are you starting to see your rows? Now, we're going to do a thing when we're all through, when we brightened up our rows. It's just almost unfair. But it's just fun to do. Feel bad for anyone else, that has like the lavender lessons out there. Because I'm going to show you the secret sauce of lavender. But can you see I'm just making these little textural brush strokes. I'm not trying to paint every lavender spike into the distance.
But they must all be painted. We must see them all. All the lavender spikes.
Now I'm going to rinse out really, really well. And I'm going to do kind of an interesting thing. I'm going to take a little of my ultramarine into my quinacridone. What? Yep. And I'm going to get some white into that. See that right there?
Mm-hmm.
Totally different deal.
The new color could be called Sherpa.
Sherpa?
Yeah.
The new color that they invent?
Yeah.
Yeah, they could.
Joey thinks it could be called Sherpa.
I'm adding a little bit of this mix here to the top of some of my stuff. Maybe out some spikes. Maybe some of it here too. Just some places.
Wow. And that's all the different subtle colors really make a difference.
They do. Rinse this out so well because you're going to take your quinacridone and a smidge of your cad yellow and some white. You can grab a little purple into it, but what you're going to be doing is warming up some of this that has picked up some sunlight. Do you see the sunlight picking up on it?
Yeah.
Coming through? Yeah, I could rush through, but don't hit it too much everywhere. It's little bits of light that are catching your space, right? Hit it a couple places. Oh, catching some shape. Catching the tops. Not the deep part of where you've got flowers, but these are the tops of where you have flowers. See how we're catching just the tops? Now, you won't have any there because they wouldn't have any sunlight. If you got too dark with anything, just come back with a little purple and push it back. Don't let it overwhelm anything. You just want to show how there's some sunlight traveling down your rows. Can you see your sunlight in your rows? Look, I've got a little bit of that color mixed in and I'm just pulling it down. Watch this thing go. Boom, 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 boom. I'm awesome. Boom, 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 boom. It's awesome. Yay, sunlight. Let's see how our rows look now. Do they look lit at dawn or dusk? Yeah, they do. You can always, always, always grab a little of your purple and just your different little mixes and pull some little close-up spike flowers here all the way into the green, okay?
There were some ladies who were Corey sort of geeking out on your shirt, so I was just like, is that Star Wars on your shirt?
It is. It's Star Wars Starry Night with Vader. Trying to get over Ben Solo, guys. Just let me work through. Even shirtless didn't help me. Didn't help me. I really don't want anyone to make me miss Anakin, but they did. They found a way. Ah! It's okay. Now, while I'm here, and I've got my sharper little brush, I'm going to take a little of my brown and my black, and I'm going to make a nice little dark color. And I'm going to come just at the crease here just a little bit and make sure that that's got a nice kind of thought about line. Just a little bit, and I'm blending it in. I just want to make sure that I've got one before I put in the other stuff. How does that look so far?
Really good.
Are you guys up to finishing this thing out?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. We're only a minute and 26 in. An hour and 26 minutes in.
Oh, fantastic. So we're good.
This is really good.
I'm going to take a little of some of the colors that you saw on my sunset, and I'm going to just kiss with those colors this little ledge, just sort of implying that they're, see how I'm just very lightly kissing? These are not, I'm not painting it, I'm kissing it. You can even put some of that a couple places in your lavender. Saying, oh, light, light, a little bit of sparkly light. See a little bit of sparkly light?
I see lots of sparkly light.
Yeah, I don't play fair. Fair is not how we play. All right, we're going to dry this so I can sketch out a wine bottle and glass and get those in so that we can do our grapes. And that's our last thing. You guys ready?
Yeah. And so, if you guys check in the links in the description below, you will find the updated traceable that will be in there, the original traceable that will be in there, and the reference photo and list of materials and link to other cool stuff on the website that you can find. Yeah. And just generally, I'm going to look over there and see what you got. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out with us. There's Cinnamon back.
I am back, but I have to fix something. I'm going to take a little of my purple and a little of my brown.
What you got to fix?
I'm going to get some yellow on there that I don't have. Okay, there we go. I didn't like this line here where I have my sky, so I'm going to just clean it up. I mean, I feel like it's rustic, but this has gotten too rustic. Even though it's lopsided, it's still too rustic.
Okay. Tighten up those lines.
Just a little bit, because goodness gracious. You know, it's a lot going on there that we need to fix. So that's what I'm doing, is I'm just fixing the lines. And again, I will give you a corrected traceable after, so you have the exact number of grapes that I have. Have all the grapes.
But that's all you're doing is crisping up some of those lines.
I'm just crisping up a couple lines, even though I know I'm going to have like a ton of vines and stuff. I'm still just going to crisp up some of the lines just so that it feels nice when it, you know, like you do. Trying to make it feel nice.
Yeah, everybody really loves this. This is turning into a really, really beautiful painting.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be so pretty. It's going to be one of those paintings where you're like, it's on my wall and I love it. But every once in a while I do these great paintings, I'm like, this is the greatest great painting everywhere, ever. And then everyone's like, yeah, I don't really want to paint Tiffany. And I'm like, no. Neon, I'm going to make it happen. How are we doing?
Good.
See how that is? Oh, see, now that's a nice little windowsill thingamajiggy. Where's my chalk pencil in my coffee, which my coffee needs a reheat.
I need that too.
Mine has to be poured into a cup and reheated and then poured back into this cup, and I need fresh water. I don't trust honey to do that.
I can do all of those things.
Can you?
I can.
Okay.
So what else? What are we doing next, though?
I am looking for my chalk pencils. That's what we're doing next.
Oh, you're going to start chalking in the...
Yeah, I have to start chalking in the thing, and I had a chalk pencil that you all saw me have that I put out here. So that oh, there it is. It's under.
I'm going to, hold on. Let me go over to adjust the audio. So what I'm going to do for everyone just during this segment, because I can control the horizontal and the vertical. I'm going to crank down the upper spectrum of audio on your mic.
What does that mean?
Well, that means that I'm going to cut off all the high pitch range.
Oh, am I being pitchy this whole time?
No.
For an hour and 20?
But when you use that pencil and you draw on the board.
Okay.
So while you're doing this, I'm gonna step in the other room and microwave stuff while you're drawing on here, and I have prepared the audio so that we get less squeakiness.
Okay.
So you go.
I'm gonna. I need to have vertical lines. What I find that if I don't have a vertical line, I can't draw me a thing. So I'm gonna just chalk in my first vertical line, which is gonna be my wine glass. Now, the thing I like to do on my wine glass is I'm going to like to make this sort of little U shape. You know, and I try to make it the same on both sides. The line helps me do that, so it's a little bit mirrored. I'm going to use clean water to erase it. It looks like it's going to make that squeaky noise, so hopefully John has saved you. Now I'm going to come straight across that. I like to put a little ball here at the base of the wine, mostly because I've watched people blow glasses, and so I know that they do certain, like they put little beads. And I'm going to put one at the base of my stem where I want it to end. I'm going to give myself an ellipse, right, which is nice, this nice little ellipse to hold the glass up, because if it doesn't have a stand, where's it going to go? So an ellipse is just a foreshortened circle. I'm going to trim this in. That's going to make a nice little base. That comes up to this. And with my, oh look, my bird feeder's here. See my bird feeder? Oh, here it is. Here's my bird feeder. There we go. I'm going to get that a little bit wet so I can erase any of the chalk lines I'm not into. And since my paint is dry, I can totally do that. And this is going to help me. See, I have a nice little wine glass now. Nice, weird little wine glass, which I feel is like, now looking at it, is not deep enough. This is like a tasting wine glass. I'm just like, nobody could drink anything out of this wine glass. It's not going to hold any wine. You get 2 sips of wine. That's all you get. All right, so we made this just a little bit bigger because, dude, I mean, you got to have a drink or something. That was just rude. All right, so made that a little bit bigger. Aperitif! It's not, but that's okay. So, you know, I'm going to want the bottle to cross behind the glass a little bit. So I'm going to make sure I have this line. And then it's going to have like a stem. So I'm going to come here and make a nice longer line for the stem and neck. Okay. So at the top of this, I'm definitely going to want to have like a little thicker area. But I need to make sure my shoulder is coming in the correct angle. And once I have that shoulder, I have to make sure I have another exact nice shoulder on this side. Kids are like, you're done. This is a long painting. And it may be, but you know what? You know what? It's
only an hour and 30 minutes in.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this is a good painting for what we're doing.
This is a really good painting class. Everybody is really enjoying this.
So
I'm really enjoying it.
So like on the glass, I've got the area for like the cap of the cork or whatever up here. I have my shoulders, and those are tucking behind. I've got the base, which is like a smile. And just making sure that these are believable sizes that would carry booze. Yay! That worked well. Now, my very favorite part is that I get to take a little green and a little black, because basically this is some black and green at first. more black, and then a nice top. So I got my Cambridge number 4. You could use, again, a cat's tongue if you wanted. I'm mixing my black and green together. And I'm going to come right here. And I'm going to paint this into the glass. Now some of this, the green showing, will be when I highlight. But I have to make sure that I'm layered well with my glass and this bottle. Now as I come down, I just dipped in water. I'm going to grab a little more black. You can also put out some of your alizarin because that's going to help us with the wine. So now we have green, black, and alizarin on the brush. That's quite dark, isn't it? But that's going to help us get that depth that we're going to need. Notice I'm leaving in my chalk lines so I know where the heck things were. This is also going to help me when I dry brush the glass in. Dry brushing the glass in.
Yeah.
Hi guys, I'm sorry. Is everything okay? Oh my god.
This is great.
Really?
Yeah, no, everybody's loving this. We've had a full house. We've had right around, it's like right now we got 640, but we had pretty close to 700 people here.
We lost 20. What did we do?
I know, people have been hanging around here really enjoying this. This has been a really good show. This is a really good lesson. So thank you for this has been fun. Now
I am doing a
strokes.
very special brush stroke here. I'm brush stroking. You can see in the curve of the bottle, this is going to help me maintain that shape, right, that I need to have.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to continue to like have a shadow under all this. It's okay to enforce that shadow.
And that's a super subtle color in there.
It is. It is.
Now I can see it here. I'll make sure I can adjust.
You may not be able to see it anywhere else. I'm going to put out a little of my glazing medium, and I'm going to get that on my brush. As you can see, it's just transparent. And I'm going to make sure that here at the front of the stone, I've got a little bit of an aging. See how I'm aging it?
Yeah.
And bringing that down with just the glaze. See how the glaze is doing? And that's because we're going to have grapes and all kinds of things here that are going to be casting weird shadows. And I need to make sure that that's all handled. And rinse out. Now I'm going to get my red. I might even get a little of my quinacridone into it and a smidge of my cad yellow. And I'm going to come across and I'm going to do the top of the labeling. I'm going to do brush strokes in the direction of the curve. See how I'm doing?
Yeah.
I'm going to bring that down a little bit. And again, in direction of the curve. I can always come and clean up my chalk lines, so pay attention to your paint lines, even if your chalk lines go where you don't want your paint lines to go. Right? So don't just be married to the chalk lines. Pay attention to how the paint looks. Look at that. There we go. Look at us. We're so awesome. Right? And while I've got this, I can take this very, very dark color. I can even add some purple into it for this wine. Some purple in that. And we know that we've got to have some wine in the glass, don't we? And just bring that across here. Give them a drink, for goodness sakes. They've gone on vacation. They're getting over their whatever's happening, their Tuscan sun moment. They're on their Diane Lane vacation. Give them a nice, beautiful, locally sourced glass of wine.
I love visiting people who make their own wine or brew their own, concoctions of mead, ale, beer.
He's not even like exaggerating.
I love visiting them because they always take so much, like art, like it's, it's the same thing that I love about art, visiting the art manufacturers.
Yep.
It's because you find people who are passionate about this kind of stuff. And I'm like, we're all about art too, but I love the winemakers and the brewers, and we got to visit a lot of those up in Canada actually. So
I'm pulling a lot of that out. While I'm letting this dry, I'm going to get a little of my green again. Right, and I'm going to add a little of my alizarin crimson to it, crazily enough, and a smidge of yellow. And I'm going to come here and I'm going to say right here a little bit. We have a little bit of dry brushed green coming down. It's okay if I just come down just a smidge on the shoulder.
That is so cool, that subtle greenness in there.
Yeah, it's super important.
Because that's the color of the bottle.
Right.
And it kind of comes through and wraps around the edge of the light wraps around the bottle.
Super true. And I'm going to come back. It's very important to catch that with this like burgundy color with a little bit of the black. It's going to read as almost black.
Oh, Tina, she was just like, you should come to Kansas City and visit. We have like lots of mead making. I'm like, dude, I got family up there. We're coming.
We do. But we're not visiting the family.
We won't drop in on our family unexpectedly. We'll just come visit your mead.
We'll just come visit your mead. They don't want to see us anyways. We're those crazy relatives that you like have to invite to Thanksgiving, but you're like, oh, it's the arty ones.
Yeah, we're the video game makers and YouTubers of the family. The reliable ones.
Actually, it's true. We are the reliable ones.
But, it's
so now I've got a little highlight of the green, and I've got that, but it looks like kind of like a black hole, I imagine, from your end.
No. See, and so she's in a brightly lit studio, so her monitor can't really see as much. But when we go in here on this, we were able to catch some of those greens and browns and subtle tones there. So
I'm going to put out some zinc white. You can use titanium white all the way through if you don't have zinc. Just so you know.
Just so you know.
But I'm going to use some just zinc because it's so transparent. And I'm going to come in and on the edge here with my very, very transparent zinc. Dry brush in a little bit of the reflection that I might be seeing in my glass. I'm going to bring some of this down. Maybe some right here. Just very carefully. A little bit down the stem, just a smidge. And yeah, I'm going to have grapes here, but I want this to show. I'm going to take a little of my alizarin and a little zinc. And I'm going to make a little reflection on this label. Also down this bottle. Maybe like right here at the shoulder and then across. See how we're just dry brushing a little bit of glass reflection? How's that looking? Starting to see everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going to get back into my small brush. I'm going to do something kind of crazy. I'm going to get my alizarin. I'm going to get a little cat into it. Yellow. See how we're doing? Still quite red though. And you're going to come into this wine and add some reflections. And you see how the wine's reflecting now?
Yeah.
Into that wine. Get some alizarin. It's okay if it picks up some zinc. It might not do so great with titanium. It'll get a little too pink. I might even put just a little of this color here and a little bit in the stem because glass reflects everything. Soften this right here before I put in the white bright highlights. right? Because the white bright highlights, they change everything. So we want to get as much in as we can before. I'm just making sure my label is crisp. Enjoying that. Now, I'm not labeling my bottle. One tip, if this is a gift, if you're doing this for somebody, one thing that you can do is you can put in your label and then write the family name and create a family crest for them. It's something that people often like. I'm going to get just my titanium white on my cat's tongue number 4. Brush is still pretty dry. I'm going to come across the top of the lid. And I'm going to sharpen up some of the lines that I have. I may need to add a smidge of water to do that, but I don't want it to be a very wet lining process. I can even reflect at the top of the line just a smidge. See how we're doing?
Now, which white are you using?
Titanium now.
Okay.
Because look what's going to happen when I add it to the reflection.
Were you using...
Zinc before, titanium now.
Okay, so Vivi was asking, did the zinc white have glazing medium in it?
No, it is transparent.
Okay, so that's why it gave that sort of transparent, glazy kind of look.
Yes. And you can kind of get the effect with glazing medium with the titanium white, but then it gets too wet. There's a lot of good companies that are economical that have zinc white as a color, or mixing white, or tinting white. Any of those will work. You can see I'm just enforcing some of the lines. Not all the lines. Enforcing some of it, not all of it. Okay, so we've got some wine there, and we're starting to get a little of the label. I'm going to add some alizarin and some yellow, and I'm going to just make sure that there's enough of a light outline here that we can really feel that label. Can we see it now?
Yeah.
So I can't see it on my screen at all. So I have to, you know. Just trying to make a bright color.
So Deidre said something very nice. I want to pass along. She says, one of the best things about the, and that she loves about the Art Sherpa is that she teaches us how to be fearless. Seriously, she paints live. How vulnerable yet empowering. Thank you.
You're so welcome. And yeah, seriously, like this paint live thing is sometimes pretty scary. I'm just re-glazing this because I felt like I lost some of it. And I just want it to look right. Like you do. I'm coming back with like my zinc. There we go. So I've got this here. I need to get some leaves up here. Some leaves, some grapey grape leaves, some grapey grape vines, and some grapey grapes. So let's first get some grapey grape vines, which is going to be our burnt sienna and our green. And you can see I'm dipping in the water and I'm swirling around, and that improves the flow of the paint. So I'm not having to switch to like a fluid paint. And I'm going to make a couple little vine lines. Look at that.
Yeah. You know what happens to our grapes when they're not grapey anymore?
I don't know what happens to the grapes when they're not grapey anymore.
They turn into raisins.
Oh my gosh.
You walked into that one.
I asked that question. Why? Did I not see it coming?
Have you not met me?
I have met you, and that's why I'm questioning my judgment here. Because how did I mean, like, surely that's a thing that would have to happen no matter what we did.
I'd expected you to heard it through the grapevine already.
You stop now, Mr. Coney. You stop. Stop it. Stop it. I know where you sleep. Okay, so I'm getting my number 8's cat's tongue, and I'm going to get it kind of wet. And I'm going to make sure that I've got some burnt sienna into my phthalo green. And I'm going to make some big and small grape leaves, right? So I'm going to make a little bit of a little point here, and then it's got a little friend here. They're kind of like a little 3-prong thing, so you can have big ones and small ones, right? So you could have like a nice big one right here. It comes to a little point, and then he's got a little friend. There's a little bit there. Let's get some of these grape leaves in, right? And so I'm just going to paint up a bunch of these in various sizes, going a bunch of different directions. This is like a big one. That's nice. I'm going to come back with a very bright yellow.
Mm-hmm.
And make some highlights, and that will make this super pretty. So just look at the reference of the grape leaves and be like, oh yeah, I see how that's shaped.
Now these very, very dark colors, just so you can get that underpainting in there.
Yeah,
those
this is
layers.
going to actually save me a lot of work, weirdly. Weirdly, it saves a lot of work.
It really does.
Making sure I'm loaded.
Those deeper colors make for more dynamic color difference. I was trying to think of the word. High dynamic range. That's the word I was saying. It
Well,
does.
that's what your cameras are in a high dynamic range.
Well, I had to get some high dynamic range cameras because the paint does that. And that's in order to
seeing the little brown streaks in the paint for the cameras can be real challenging.
Yeah. To do this justice, we needed to get better cameras, and we have them now.
We have them now.
We just have to finish the studio walls, which I'm building.
Well, we stopped traveling, so that'll help.
Yes. Now that we're not traveling all over the place.
And the behind-the-scenes undermining, hopefully, is coming to an end. So, woo! Gonna start doing construction.
Building things.
Building things.
Walls.
Doing the important stuff. Helping people.
And I'm excited about the new walls, actually, and the new lights, because then all the camera angles zoom.
Just having some fun. Just, put some little green things here saying, every leaf doesn't have to be defined either, by the way. You just want to define some of them. Some of them, it's just a big green mess, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're just making sure up here that you've got some of them well thought out, right? And some of them not as much. Now, I feel like, do I have my little pouncer? I think my littlest pouncer is a good size. We're about to see.
I always think I have things well thought out, but they never are.
They never are? I think that's just me that you think that's true. So I'm going to put some purple out there. I'm going to start with some purple. And I might let it get into the alizarin or the quinacridone. I'm going to guess quinacridone. Did I just put paint on my face?
I don't think so.
Wow, I felt like I just put some paint right across my face.
That would be very Sherpa. We would be like, I'd be to put on the 3-minute.
I think I need more bath, more meditative music.
I wish we could do more live music. We're gonna do some experimenting in other areas with more live music, though.
So I'm mixing the quinacridone and the purple. I'm going to go ahead and get a little zinc in there, because zinc isn't going to like really, really over tint or tone. See how a little bit's in there? I'll make sure I've got a nice twist. And I'm going to use this to do my first thought of my bunch of grapes. So I'm pressing down and twisting.
How did you get that multicolor thing on the grapes?
Wait, we just did that, John.
That was all that. Just that twist does that.
Yeah, the twist just does that. We load it up with all those colors, and we twist when we load. And then we add a little bit of that white so you can see how it looks when I add the white, the zinc especially. Got a little bit on the edge. You can see that brings out
that's
the
what
color.
it is. Pull that over a little bit. I think it just scooted. That's what happened. There it goes.
See?
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Okay. That makes that auto highlight function.
Yes.
Oh, and then you can just adjust where you have that oriented to make the different, so they all look unique.
So they all are unique. Every grape is a unique grape.
That's true.
Every grape.
No two grapes are squeezed the same.
No two grapes are the same.
They all
Make
juice
sure your
differently.
first run of grapes are pretty dark so you can highlight your grapes. Right, so I like if I come back I can do some just purple ones. Isn't that fun? And then here I'm going to do a bunch of grapes. They come right in front and go down the windowsill. See how we're doing?
Oh, yeah.
There we go, down the windowsill. So now we have this much grape. I'm going to get some quinacridone into that, like you do, and I'm going to get a little zinc.
Gigi was asking, what's that thing you're using there?
This is my ArtSherpa pouncer. They're pouncers, these little daubers, these pouncers. You can get them at different craft stores and art stores. Mine is the ArtSherpa one, and mine has the hole in the back and the comfort indent.
For orientation.
Well, and also to keep your hand from fatiguing because
So you don't overpounce.
overpouncing is a problem in this country, and we must do something about it.
There's an epidemic.
Of overpouncing.
And Tiggers lead it.
Tiggers are the worst perpetrators of overpouncing.
I'm a supporter of overpouncing. I find myself on the other side of the aisle here in this situation. I support excessive pouncing.
We just can't discuss pouncing in our house. We do something easy like
It's
politics
a hot
and
topic.
religion.
Yep. We just can't. It's like politics and religion. Can't talk about it here.
Well, we do that. We just can't talk about pouncing or varnish. My mom and I can talk about religion all day, but don't get us on varnish.
No.
No. So see, I have some dark grapes.
Dark grapes.
And now I have some light grapes. Now, one fun thing I can do is I can switch my pouncer around.
It's reversible.
It's reversible. It is actually reversible. And I can load up with the quinacridone and a smidge of my cad yellow. See how I'm doing? I'll watch this. We're going to put in some light grapes.
Oh,
My
yeah.
pressure's super light. Right? And I'm just going over some of them towards the inside.
Oh, that's so cool.
To be like, oh, you caught a little of the light from the window. Just a few of these, too. Not all of them, for goodness sakes. Just some of them.
Wow, that is so cool.
Like they had just caught a little light from the window. So now I've got the wine glass, the grapes, everything's lit. This definitely has to go into a jar of water and be rinsed. Oh, hopefully we don't electrocute ourselves. Rinsed out. I got a little aggressive
Oh, no.
with rinsing it out.
Everything's on GFI, so it will just pop.
Will I pass out though? Like, will they see me go down? Will they be like, Sherpa down?
I don't think it'll pass out. We just might hear you go, ow. It might be just, like a little, just a little tickle. I'm just kidding, guys. Everything's GFI. Everything's just fine. I'm just teasing her.
It's probably good. I had a complicated painting to do today. I want to thank you guys for being with me. I've had kind of like the best. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times kind of month. Where like amazing things happen like NAMTA and St. Jude and getting to go to MetaCon and then other stuff happened. And I've been just like, whew, whew, whew. And John has been on patrol keeping me mellow, which has not been an easy job. So put wishes on your canvas for John.
Well, no, I'm even right down to the characters I play on games. I like being zen.
You keep saying that. You keep saying those words.
I'm telling myself it. That's what it is. This isn't like a statement of fact. This is personal reinforcement. I am zen. I am zen.
It's not bright.
So you're highlighting the leaves?
Yeah, but it's not bright enough what I did. So I'm going to go back and do it again. I'm going to get just my phthalo and my cad yellow because it just needs to pop. I might get some zinc so I can really see it and then do this so that some of these can be...
Oh, there it goes. I was wondering if you were going to highlight those. Those look like, wow, that's so bright. And that makes the difference between the ones that are lit and not lit.
Yes. Because now we have some leaves that are in the light. See how we do? The zinc is my fave. That way these guys in the window can be a little more window-ish. You know, if you're close to the window, some of your leaf might be in that light. And I can get it back over my grapes a bit.
What did you darken the green with?
I actually rinsed out. So don't do that.
I think it was earlier on.
Earlier on I darkened the green with burnt sienna over here, but then I didn't like the colors. Just don't do it.
What did you do before that, though?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That was the wrong one. Don't do that.
Ah, okay. What was the right one?
Cad yellow, phthalo green, and zinc white.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to this leaf is going to be popping out here. Just make sure that this one is popping out here.
Craig's like, you got to be looking out for all of the Italian restaurants that are going to be using this for the new cover of their menu.
Yeah, dudes. Cheap license, though. Just call me.
It is. You know, we have a very cheap license. If you're interested in doing that, you just email us, labs@TheArtSherpa.com. Totally hook you up.
Yeah, it's not even worth stealing.
No,
seriously.
like, easy.
It's not. All right. So now that I've done all this and I've used every brush in my kit, and I have been off topic here and off topic there so much.
We're just at 2 hours.
And we're going to sign it because I feel like we got through the painting.
We did.
Now tomorrow is going to be an easy peasy day. Easy peasy day. And we're just going to come in. We're going to bunch our little Q-tips together. We're going to paint the easy peasy beautiful multicolored butterfly. And we're going to paint these easy peasy lavender. So if you're like, today was great, but I'm not ready for a lavender at this hoot level, I need something easier, come tomorrow. It's going to be short. It's going to be light. We're going to be like dabba, 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 dabba. Oh, lavender.
This is good timing because my coffee is ready to tell me time.
I'm just giving my little painting a signature. Like you do. And here we go.
Wow.
That's how easy peasy you could paint a lavender Tuscan scene.
Now, real quick for everyone, you're wearing that awesome Star Wars shirt. Where did you get that at?
Walmart. Men's department is where the good shirts and right now pajamas are. If you want like Deadpool with a unicorn, you got to go over to the Walmart side for the men's department.
Okay.
This isn't their shirts. Dig in because like it looks like they have nothing. It's like a mystery. And you're like looking at the Aegean stables of t-shirts, mishmash piled up. You got to dig through very carefully. Digging until you find your Bob Rosses and your Vaders and your Deadpool on a unicorn, maximum awesome. Which I had to get for John because it's not how my size.
Oh, I love all the unicorn shirts that were in the men's department. But I do want to say thank you to Crystal for the wonderful wonderful surprise we got today before the show. The hat made everything wonderful. Thank you so much.
You guys be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. Whatever you got going on in your life, take it to the easel. And I want to see you tomorrow for a fun light painting we're all going to enjoy. Okay, bye-bye.